Welcome to Building the Future, hosted by Kevin Horick. With millions of listeners a month, Building the Future has quickly become one of the fastest rising programs, with a focus on interviewing startups, entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, and more. The radio and TV show airs in 15 markets across the globe, including Silicon Valley. For full showtimes, past episodes, or to sponsor the show, please visit buildingthefutureshow.com.
Welcome back to the show. Today we have Daniel Tonkopi. He's the CEO and founder at Delfast Bikes. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show. I think what you guys are doing at Delfast Bikes is actually really innovative and cool. But maybe before we dive into that, let's get to know you a little bit better and start off with where you grew up.
Oh, of course. I grew up in Kazakhstan. I
Oh, interesting.
wonder if you have been there or not.
I have
Oh,
not. I would like to get to that part of the world one day. The closest I've been, I guess, is Madrid, but that's not really that close.
yeah, and there are 7 more hours by plane
Yeah,
or something.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, I grew up. Actually, I was born in Moscow, in
Okay,
Russia.
very cool.
Yeah, but I was 2 years old, and my parents moved to Kazakhstan because my father is from Kazakhstan. So I
Okay,
grew up in Almaty, Kazakhstan. It's the largest city. So my school, my first university, my first work were in Kazakhstan.
okay. So you went to university. What did you take and why?
Uh, that's a good question. I studied math in school,
Okay.
and my first university was International Economic Relations in Almaty. Why? That's a good question because the main reason is because my father was a professor in this university.
Ah,
Uh,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, and after that, I passed my exams into another Moscow university at International Law Department, and the reason for that was because my mother was a lawyer. So
Interesting.
yeah, and I have 2 degrees, like economic and law.
Very cool. So you get out of university. Walk us through your career, maybe some highlights along the way, because you've done a ton of stuff.
Um, yes, like when I finished my university, economic relations, I went to Moscow. Then I traveled a lot through Kazakhstan, Russia, and ex-Soviet Union countries, working in real estate and oil industry. So I was working
Interesting.
for yeah, for I was in oil and gas industry, working for huge oil and gas corporation, Kazakhstani corporation. It's like the largest employee in Kazakhstan.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So I probably to start to become an environmentalist, you have to know the other side of it. So probably I
Right.
had to work in an oil company.
Okay, interesting. So walk us through the rest of your career up until coming up with the idea, and then let's dive into Delfast.
Oh yeah, after 2009, you remember that was the year of the global economic crisis,
Yep.
and yeah, and our real estate industry just collapsed. So I thought, okay, now I don't have a job, and what I'm gonna do? I had some money, I had a lot of experience working for corporation, but I realized that I want to be an entrepreneur. I
Okay.
want to change the world, like with my efforts, to do something for the world. And I traveled a lot by that time and decided to stay in Kiev. Kiev is one of the most beautiful place in the world. Uh, I love Kiev. I love Ukraine. So I decided to live in Ukraine.
Interesting.
And yes, and in 2009, that was a time when our part of the world, our IT part of the world, were trying to clone some successful American startups. For
Ah,
example, Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook in
right.
2007, I guess, and there was a successful clone in Russia and in Kazakhstan for this Facebook. There were clones of Groupon and other huge companies, and I thought, okay, there is no Yelp for Ukraine.
Interesting.
And yeah, and I had a problem because I was traveling a lot.
Right.
I didn't know where to stay, where to eat, which gyms are good and which are not. And so I decided to solve my own problem, to establish a company mm, called best.ua, which was Yelp for Ukraine, with reviews about places. And that was my first startup. That's how I became an entrepreneur and a startup guy. So I raised a lot of money, like $500,000, and I lost this money. I made all the possible mistakes with this startup. That was
Okay.
my first startup.
Sure.
Yeah. After
Okay.
that,
Keep
yeah,
going. Sorry.
yeah, that's okay. After that, I had another startup. It was I sold it. I sold with a huge loss. But okay, I said, let's start another company.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and I created a game, an augmented reality game. It was 2011, 2012, and of course you remember this Google Glass.
Yep. I
Like
remember
yeah,
that. We had some. Yep.
yes.
It was interesting.
Oh, yes, yes. That was huge hype in that time. And
Totally.
yes, I thought, okay, we can create an augmented reality mobile game like a Counter Strike, but in the real world.
Oh,
You can
interesting.
use, yeah. Uh, I'm a gamer, and my my two sons are gamers, so I like gaming. I thought maybe I can like point my smartphone to my son or to another player, and then I will see his, a health bar, and we can unite against monsters which are in the augmented reality. So we can just shoot and play outside in augmented reality in the real world, not
Very
sitting at the
cool.
computer. Yeah, that was really great. We received a lot of media attention. We won a lot of contests, startup contests. That was the first time when I came to Silicon Valley and saw how it's really going on. And again, I thought that mm, I won't have any business model
Okay.
because yeah, that was a mistake, which I realized later. But I thought, okay, there are such companies like Twitter or Instagram. They
Right.
don't earn any single penny, so why can't I do the same? So I will be having millions of customers, and then I will create some business model. That was a mistake. That was huge mistake. And that was one of the main reasons why we couldn't move on and why I closed this project at the prototype stage. But that was a cool idea, and I received tons of experience again. And
Interesting.
yes,
Keep
in
going.
2000,
Sorry.
yeah. Then in 2013, I established Delfast, considering a lot of. I just told you about two startups, but I had like maybe 15 failed
Okay.
projects. So in 2013, 14, sorry, I came with the idea of Delfast company, and now last how many 8 years, I I run this company.
Okay. So before we dive into that and how you came up with the idea, okay, you just mentioned you basically had 15 failed startups. What kept you going and keep trying? Because majority of people give up after, one or two, but like how did you keep going until you found something that was working?
That's a good question. I think my recipe is the passion, is the
Yeah.
willingness to change something. Like I really when when I see a problem that could be solved, I am such kind of a person that won't just deal with it. I will try to change something, to improve something. For example, uh, this is a story of Delfast, how it appeared. I ordered a smartphone. My
Okay.
smartphone was broken. Yeah, and I ordered in an online store. And the lady called me back to confirm the order. And I asked her when they will deliver this smartphone. And she said,
Okay.
well, usually it takes 2 days. I said, I'm I don't have a smartphone. I need it right now. Do you have like 1 hour delivery? Or like, can you deliver it right now?
Yeah.
She said, no, sorry, we can't. I was ready to pay like any amount of money,
Right.
but I needed smartphone. Can you imagine you without smartphone? It's
Yeah.
like,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. It's non-negotiable.
Yes, yes. So I need it now. I asked her, and she said there are no options. So
Wow.
okay, but right after that, I ordered a pizza, and it was delivered within like 40 minutes or something.
Right.
And I thought, why this pizza could be delivered within 1 hour, and you still have to prepare to cook this pizza. And smartphone, it takes like 2 days and something. So I decided to create delivery of smartphones with the speed of pizza delivery. Like,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, like this is um, answering to your question. How to keep going. I was trying to make this world better, to change something. I saw the problems that I met with, and I tried to find the solution. And suddenly, some other people are also meeting these problems, and they
Right.
were also looking for solutions. So sometimes it became into businesses.
Interesting. Okay. So how did it evolve over the last 8 years into what it is today?
That's a good question. So I created a delivery service, 1 hour delivery company, and called it Delfast, which stands
Okay.
for We Deliver Fast. So,
Got it. Okay, cool.
uh, but from the very beginning, we had a problem at transportation. We created an outstanding 1 hour delivery, and like that was disrupting delivery service.
Okay.
Nobody could make 1 hour deliveries, even Amazon by that time.
Right.
So I realized to create 1 hour delivery, I have to use some disruptive transportation. But what it could be? Uh, as I mentioned, I grew up in Kazakhstan, and Almaty, which is the largest city, is a beautiful city, but it has an ecological problem. It
Okay.
is surrounded by mountains, and this is the reason why there is no wind in the city, which causes the smoke, huge smoke, and all the emissions, cars emissions, and power plants emissions. They just stay above the city and not going anywhere. And this is huge ecological problem. And my father was a professor of ecology, and I grew up as an environmentalist. And I thought, okay, I can do something for Almaty, for the air, not only in this city but in all large cities. And when I came up with the delivery idea, 1 hour delivery, I thought, okay, maybe I can use electric transportation.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, we can try electric bicycles. So that was an idea, just a hypothesis. And I never tried the electric bike in 2014. Actually, I never see it before. I just heard about it. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, and
Okay.
me with my partner, with Sergey, we bought first electric bicycle from one Chinese manufacturer, and seller promised us 50 miles on a single charge range. I mean,
Okay.
um, we thought, well, that's not enough for entire day of work of a courier, like because they make 120, 130 miles during a day. But that would be good enough for the beginning. 50
Right.
miles, let's start. Yeah. So we bought it. I charged it. I thought that would could be a good ride, 25 miles one way and 20 miles back way. That was great day, summer day, and I'm bike lover. I love motorcycles, bicycles. So I rode, but after about 15 miles, the bike just stopped.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I picked my phone and called to a seller and said, buddy, something's wrong with this bike. He said, no, everything is okay. I said, no, you promised me 50 miles, but it went just 15. So I don't know, maybe battery is broken or I don't know what's happening. He said,
Right.
no, 15 is okay. I said, no, you promised 50. And he goes, 50 if you help with pedals. I said, seriously? If I help with pedals, I can go for 1,000 miles. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, right? So this is how I realized that all like okay, 99.99% of e-bike manufacturers have are indicating range, but there is small font that if you use pedals, so the real range is much smaller.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. So me and Sergey, we had to develop e-bikes for our couriers, like to achieve not even 50, but at least 120 miles on a single charge. We had a lot of experiments with batteries, with motors, with frames, with all the controllers, and like all the spare parts, like thousands of experiments. And we were just solving our problem. Step by step, we created the best solution, best e-bike for couriers, for heavy riders, hardcore riders. And like answering your question, how we evolved to electric bike company. Uh, in 2017, after 2 or 3 years of operating, uh, we realized, okay, we have a kind of a product. We were successful as a delivery service. Just
Right.
we had branches in Kiev, in Odessa, in Kazakhstan, in Poland. We've signed like hundreds of B2B clients. We were number one fastest delivery in Ukraine, and as a parallel way, we were developing these e-bikes just to solve our problem. And in 2017, we thought uh, maybe we can try to sell these bikes because people were oftenly asked us, "Hey guys, how much are they?" And we were just refused to sell these bikes because we answered, "We are couriers. We are not selling bikes." Yeah. But one day we launched our Kickstarter campaign just to test a hypothesis if anybody needs this bike, or we created just something that nobody needs, and it was successful. We collected $165,000.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad. In November 2017, and we realized, okay, people need this bike, and at that from that moment, we had two business units in our company. One was courier division, and another was bike manufacturer company. And in 2020, when the COVID lockdown started, we
Right.
sold our courier part of the business. So we wanted to focus on e-bikes because we saw global perspectives, and we sold this courier business. So now we became an e-bike manufacturer. So this is a short story.
Interesting. No, that's really cool, man. So I want to dive a little bit or step back for a second. So you and Sergey were iterating on these bikes, but does he have a background in anything related to like engineering or building bikes, or you both just kind of hobbyists, or how did you guys build these first early versions? Because like they're complicated, right?
Yes. Well, short answer is no. We both of us we didn't have any experience with e-bikes,
Okay.
but and that was crazy because we created a disruptive 1 hour delivery, and people were laughing at us. Hey guys, where are you going? Like delivery? Come on, do you have any experience? No. Where? What are you thinking about? E-bikes? Hey guys, are you engineers or something? no, what are you trying to create here? Everything is already invented, etc., etc. So we were just keep going. We were just keep trying. We were just solving our own problem because we had to provide e-bikes with huge range, highly reliable, robust bikes to our couriers so they can make deliveries, right?
Right.
So we hired engineers. Like I found one engineer in Dnipro city, which is west of east of Ukraine, sorry.
Yeah.
And this engineer had a lot of experience in e-bike production. He's just like uh, he was making e-bike for himself, for his friends. He was making it like for living.
Okay. Very
Uh,
cool.
yeah. And I said, can you make me an e-bike with 150 miles range? He said, nobody needs it. I said, I need it. Can you do it or not? He said, okay, let's see what we can do. So we started to develop a lot of solutions. We have received many patents for our solutions after that, like for battery management system, for controller, for components, and everything for personal computer. So we created step by step e-bike, which exceeded all the limits in the world, literally.
Wow.
So without any background, we had just a lot of passion and a lot of desire to change the situation and to solve the problem.
No, that's very cool, and I also think that's inspiring to people, right? That if just because just because they don't have a background in something doesn't mean they can't figure out how to do it. And in your case, you guys brought somebody on board to help you with that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? But I think just because you don't have a background doesn't mean you can't do it.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm curious then, what give us kind of the specs of a Delfast bike today, because like you said, you're basically the fastest e-bike in the world, and you
Mhm.
have crazy range, and you know so let's talk about that.
Yes, sure. It was my pleasure. Uh, yes, we are the fastest e-bike in the world. If you open Forbes.com
Yeah.
and just try to search fastest e-bike, you will see Delfast bike model top 3.0. And we as a Forbes announced us the fastest e-bike for the second year in a row.
Wow,
So we,
congrats, man.
yeah, thank you.
That's
We
awesome.
also, it is indeed. So
So
we are
what does
number
fast
one.
mean? Sorry to cut you off. What
Yeah,
does fast mean? Like how many kilometers, miles per hour is that?
yeah. If you buy our stock model, you will have 50 miles per hour speed,
Okay,
five
wow.
zero, 80 kilometers per hour for
Which
for
is pretty
e-bike.
fast. Yeah, that's really
It
fast
is.
actually.
Yes, we also have our developments, and last August we established a Bonneville speed record, which was 107 miles per hour on electric bicycle. This is an official.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, 107. Yeah, it is fast. And we are also the Guinness World Record holder for the longest range traveled on a single charge, which was 236 miles on a
Wow.
single charge with no pedal using. That, that was principle. So without any pedals, just on a electric power.
Okay, but if I use the pedals, and how does it, because you guys regenerate energy, how does that work with pedals and braking and whatnot?
Yes, we have a throttle bar like a usual motorcycle, so you can just push a throttle and go without using pedals.
Okay,
Yeah, there is another mode, like according to California laws. I'm in California now. Where
right.
are you? Where you are, by the way?
I'm actually up in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Canada has more strict legislation, but California's legislation says that on a throttle bar you can ride up to 20 miles per hour.
Ah,
Yeah, there is another mode which called pedal assist mode. So you pedal like with less effort, and most of the work takes on electric power. Uh, in this mode, in pedal assist mode, you can ride up to 28 miles per hour.
okay.
And
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, and then we have just off-road mode if a customer will go to off-road or to private territory, so he or she can unlock full power and ride 50 miles per hour.
Got it. That's cool. Okay, very cool. So I want to talk about just like some of the security stuff, some of the kind of environmental stuff, because this stuff's really actually important, right? Obvious for obvious reasons.
Of course. Yes, I know. Like, I, I don't know how many, but maybe 70 or 80% of bike owners has ever met with that their bikes were stolen.
Right.
Yeah, and we also met with these problems. That's why our bikes are always connected, like 24/7 GPS tracking, telemetry. We have our own computer on board PC, and if you buy other bikes, they're all good, like Super 73, K Calc, Onyx motorcycles, and others. They do really good job, and even Harley Davidsons, they're great, but they don't have smart features. They don't You cannot control these bikes with a mobile app. You won't have any mobile app in most cases, or if you will have, then you will just see, okay, charge of battery and some minor stuff. But we have created a smart bike, like not just a bicycle with a motor, but a full gadget,
Right.
like almost I don't know, Tesla on two wheels, if you wish, or I don't know, smartphone on two wheels. So this is a smart gadget. For example, if someone will try to steal it, then you will receive push notification on your mobile phone. Okay, please check it out. Or you can use "Where is my bike" location. You can arm and disalarm signals. You can lock and unlock your bike, plan your route, and save trips, and many many other features. Like, this is fully connected smart bike, and this is how we differ from other competitors. Not only being number one in the world in terms of speed and number one in terms of range, but being the smartest e-bike as well.
Very cool. Okay. So I know, like, obviously, this is audio only and it's hard to describe, but how do you describe, or how would you describe, visually, and people can obviously go to the like delfastbikes.com and actually have a look at it, but how do you describe it? Because it has a unique look. The tires are like, do you want to maybe talk about that quickly?
Yes, sure. I would describe it like a hybrid
Okay.
between a bicycle and a motorcycle.
Right.
It's larger than a pedal bicycle and more heavier, but it's smaller than a common motorcycle. So
Okay.
the closest description would be like a moped.
Okay.
Moped with electric motor in the rear wheel and with a battery in the triangle within the frame. It has pedals. It has like a steering bar as common bicycle. It has mirrors, full light packs, like running lights and everything. And the closest description would be like a moped, motorized pedelec.
Got it. Okay. Very cool. So you mentioned like it's always connected. Do you want to talk about the app experience and what you get from that?
Uh, yes, we we asked our people what they want from a bike.
Right.
Generally, not just our customers, but generally bike users.
Yeah.
And and we ask them, we hear their problems, their issues. uh, like two most popular features which they asked for were tracking their bike, like security features, like
Yeah.
so they should be sure that bike wouldn't be stolen. Or if it will be stolen, then they will be able to find it. So
Right.
that was the first question, and we implemented that. And second question was just to make a route, to plan their trip, to save
Right.
their trips, to see the history of their trips, like, and to see what is the weather, what is the best path. So, and there are a lot of features, like uh, uh, engage and disengage alarm, for example. So basically, we are asking our clients and our potential clients what they want to see, and trying to implement this. And this is not just for this mobile app. This is our general approach. We use this approach when we develop new models, for example. And as I mentioned, this bike looks like a heavy bicycle. It is pretty heavy. It's like 170 pounds,
Okay.
or yeah, 60 kilograms or something. But many people says that they want something lighter. They sorry, people
Okay.
ask, yeah, they don't need 220 miles range. 100
Right.
miles would be good enough. Yes, and 50 miles per hour is something mm, which they not use every day.
Right.
So people ask for 28 miles per hour speed and something. So we've analyzed a lot of their requests and wishes, and developed a new model, which we didn't announce it, which we didn't present it to the market yet, but we will launch it within the next few months. And this model will be based upon more than 50,000 interviews with potential customers. So
Wow.
we hope, yes, we hope it will meet their expectations. And we called this model Delfast California bike.
Okay. So can I basically can like cherry pick the features that I want and then you build it, or is it too kind of early to mention the customizations or what I can or what it's about?
Uh, if I understand you right, we have our R&D center in Ukraine. We have
Okay.
our hardware and software engineers in house. We make prototypes in our factory in Kiev.
Right.
Unfortunately, these days it's
Eh,
not
yeah, it's
not
hard.
easy. Yeah.
Yes.
And in 2021, we moved our headquarters to Los Angeles area.
Okay.
So yeah, me as CEO and our chief revenue officer, we moved here with several sales managers, several engineers. We found chief marketing officer here in California. So now we have two offices: our headquarters in Los Angeles and our R&D center and support center in Kiev. So yes, we are developing everything in-house. We are speaking with our clients, customers, dealers every day, and we implement these features. Like if we can make minor upgrade of I don't know, kickstand, for example.
Yeah.
People says, okay, kickstand could be better. Well, okay, we will develop new kickstand and produce it and supply kickstands in the next bunches. It's our own development.
Okay,
uh,
but can I like say like I want this range or I want less range, more range, a lighter one, a heavier one? Like does that work or not yet?
That's a good question. Previously, we had several different models with several
Okay.
different, options.
Right.
Like 2 years ago, we had first long range model that
Okay.
was called Delfast Prime with
Yeah.
370 kilometers range. We had off-road version, we had cross-road version, we had
Ah,
three-wheeled model, we had a cheaper version for couriers and for other guys who cares about the price. We had speedy version, Delfast Top. We had full drive version, like two motors. So we had 7 or 8 different models, and each of them had different options. But at one moment, we thought, okay, wait a minute. What are we selling? What is our main product?
right.
Actually, an investor asked us, "What are you focused on?" And I said, "We are focused on e-bikes." He said, "Okay, e-bikes. What is your product? Like, if you were Coke, what you were selling? Coke, Sprite, Fanta, or what? What is your main core
Right.
brand?" I said, "Well, we don't know. We have 7 different models. We sell them. He said, "Hey guys, listen. You have you are startup. You have very limited budget, very limited resources, team. So if you have 7 models, that means that you have 7 different target audiences,
Right.
which means you have to pay 7 different advertising campaigns for absolutely different clients. So you have restricted resources, limited resources, and you even cut them, like divide by 7. Uh, you have to find what's your focus. And that
Interesting.
was, yeah, that was really good advice from an investor. And we followed this advice not because he was going to invest to us, but because that was really wise. So we just sat with our team and analyzed our sales volume, and we saw that one model, which was speedy version, Delfast top, makes about 80% of our sales volume, and other 6 models, yeah, makes just 20% of sales. So that was hard decision, but we decided just to cut off all other products and to focus on one model.
No.
And that, yeah, that was a relief for everyone, for marketing, for sales department, because they didn't have a bunch of different completion. Now they had just one model. That was a relief for engineers, because they had the bomb list for just one model, so they can improve it, make it perfect. For marketing campaign, for advertising, now we could focus on an audience. We could speak to one audience, and we we didn't, spread our efforts. So that was really one of the best decisions that we made, to focus.
No, I think that's actually really good advice. So I'm curious then, you you've obviously been doing this a long time now, and you're really taking in your customer feedback to help you build the next version, add features to the app. But how do you know which feedback to actually execute on? Because you can really easily chase your tail and never really get anywhere, or just keep launching features or take these requests that actually don't really sell more bikes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you know how it's working. And yeah, you are absolutely right. We can always chasing the tail. So we I created a rule for myself,
Okay.
always to check the hypothesis. uh, I remember uh, 9 years ago, when I used to run best UA, which we spoke already about. That was Yelp for Ukraine, just
Right.
reviews about restaurants and other places. So I decided, like, people asked us, actually, "Hey guys, can you make a reservation button, like, order a table, book a table at a restaurant?" I
Right.
thought, yeah, that makes sense. Uh, like, everybody knows that about OpenTable, really
Yep.
popular service in America, but there were no such services in Ukraine. So
Okay.
I decided, let's do it. So I found several developers for this button, and this is not just a button. This means when you push this button, on the other side, at the restaurant side, someone's receiving a message, and he or she will have a system which shows that this particular table is available at this particular time. So this means that he or she has a table management system.
Right.
And then there will be a text message confirmation to your smartphone. So there is another feature. So we had to develop not just the button, but the entire table management system. It took us about 4 to 5 months to develop, then another 2 months to implement this to restaurants. And that was hard, because all the restaurants, they just get used to accept bookings by phone.
Right.
Nobody was these buttons because there were no such buttons. That was a new product, and we were trying to teach these administrators. We were trying to persuade the restaurant owners. So we had a lot of challenges. So it took us like 7 or 8 months for entire development and implementation. And at the end of the day, we received like 4 orders per week.
Okay.
Like our business model was $1 per pushing the button, one dollar
Right.
per push. Yeah, so
Okay.
a restaurant could easily understand. So if we will give him a lead, a client, he will pay us $1, and then he will whatever he will sell to him. So we received $4 a week.
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
that wasn't what we were expected for. So we invested into advertising, into promotion. Okay, we increased it up to $10 per week of revenue.
Okay.
So, so this is not this wasn't working.
Right.
So after 12 months of the entire project, we decided to stop it, just because I realized that we are wasting time and money and everything. We lost a lot of money. People just didn't push the button.
Right.
Because probably the reason was because there are no queues in Ukrainian restaurants, so you can just come and sit.
Right.
You
Okay.
don't wait. Yeah, not like in America. So that was one of my fails, and after that, after several years, I spoke to another investor in Berlin, and he said, "Why didn't you use a fake button?" I said, I said, "What do you mean fake button?" He said, "You didn't have to spend 12 months for the development, implementation, advertising. You could just create a button with nothing behind and just count how many people will be clicking on it." I said,
Interesting.
"Yes." I said, "Wait a minute, but this is like a fake." He said, "This is just for a test, your hypothesis. Just you could have received your answer, or if people are willing to push such button or not, within a week, not waiting for a year, not spending this huge bunch of money." And I was like speechless. I thought, "D- could I do this? Could I try this really?" And I remember all these thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, all these sleepless nights, all these argues with restaurant owners, etc., etc. And I could just save 1 year of work and a lot of money with testing this hypothesis. Just put in this fake button and see the answer within a week. So
I-
that was a good lesson.
No, fair. Well, and I guess worst case scenario, you could have just manually called the restaurant to make a reservation, right? Like you just get it to send you a
Absolutely.
quick email or something. Yeah.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
the worst thing that can happen to you. So from that time, I told to myself, okay, I'm going always check the hypothesis. If I have a like brilliant, idea,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, I will always check it. If anyone else think it's really brilliant or not. So coming back to your question, how we decide if someone needs new models of bikes or not. So we are always testing the hypothesis. For example, when we received a feedback, "Hey guys, I need like folding bike. I
Okay.
need a heavy motorcycle or whatever, or any part of it." We just make a landing page uh, and see how many people will push the button, how many people will click "I want to buy it," for example. Or we can make a field like "subscribe on use on this model." And for example, at CES,
Yeah.
Consumer Electronics Show, which was in January, we presented two different new models, new designs,
Yeah.
and we asked people to just to click which one they like more.
Okay.
And yes, so we were checking the hypothesis, and based on this data, how many people push the button, we are making our next decision. And it works. It works. Like few months ago, we tried to, like, we decided to implement heavy motorcycle, and we announced about it, but we received just 60 clicks
Okay.
from potential people who might be interested in this heavy motorcycle. So we decided, okay, this means 60 clicks. If we will produce this heavy motorcycle, like in fact, so these 60 interested people will convert into 6 orders. Uh, this is not sexy. So we decided to postpone this project.
No, I actually think that's really good advice. And it no, yeah, I've been down what you just outlined more times than I could probably remember at this point. So I think that's actually really, really good advice, is try to think of the quickest, simplest, cheapest way possible to test your hypothesis.
Right, right. It will save a lot of money and time and
Stress.
stress. Yes.
So I want to just kind of go back to the bike quickly, because we're kind of coming to the end of the show. But
Mhm.
what's the cost and to get one, and where can people actually get their hands on one, and can they, if they're in a city where you guys have a dealership, can they actually like test drive one?
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, last year we opened our headquarters in Los Angeles, and the main one of two main reasons was to be closer to our customers. That was probably the largest reason. Second reason is investment and closer to capital, but
Right.
the first reason is clients. So we are building our dealership network. We have now a lot of dealers today in California, in Florida, in New York, in Texas, in other states. We have dealership in Canada, but not in all cities yet.
Right.
So currently, we have our stock in Los Angeles. So last year we had some logistics issues, like the
Like
entire
everybody.
world.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 absolutely. And our lead time was 4 to 5 months, which was not good. Nobody wants to wait for such a long time. But now today, waiting time is just 1 to 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's easy. And if you are in LA, so you will get it within 1 or 2 days or something. Uh, yeah, people can try it, can make test ride with our dealers or with our representatives here in Whittier, California. And regarding the price, it's starting from $140 per month
Okay.
using PayPal credit and Klarna and the firm and something. And the total price is $6,500.
Okay, so I can pay monthly for how long, or I just can obviously pay the 65.99 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we have different installments plans. We are working with several banks like PayPal, Credit, Klarna, etc. And we have our own installment plans. So yeah, we are flexible in that. And also, as I already mentioned, we will launch a cheaper version soon. Like within maybe until the end of summer, we will launch our crowdfunding campaign for the California bike, which will be lighter, cheaper, more reliable, not such brutal, not such heavy. Uh, I think it will be more affordable for everyone.
Very cool. And you have different color options right now, like a black, a white, an orange, a red, and a blue.
Yes.
So very cool. So
Yes.
how about we close the show with mentioning where people can get more information about yourself, Delfast, and any other links you want to mention?
Yes, sure. Everything. If you're interested in e-bikes, just visit our website, delfastbikes.com. Uh, you can always follow me on Twitter, on Facebook. It's easy, Daniel Tonkopi. I'm big fan of everything eco, about the environment, about clean energy, clean society. Like, we are from Ukraine. We stand
Sure.
for emissions free and dictators free society.
Sure. And you're giving some proceeds of your sales to support Ukraine. You want to talk about that quickly?
Yes, absolutely. We, all of us, all 40 millions of Ukrainians, we all work in two shifts now. Like, one shift is our usual civil life, and second shift is we are standing for Ukraine and
Sure.
with Ukraine. I personally, one of leaders of the ULAW movement, which stands for Ukrainian Leaders Against War, and we speak to senators and Congress people of the U.S. Congress. We ask them to provide military help, humanitarian help, and literally 2 hours ago, I had a meeting with Senator Feinstein's office
Oh,
from
wow.
California. Yes, we spoke about immigration issues, because there are a lot of refugees and people who want to come to America. They have issues with visa, with humanitarian parole, and other problems. So we ask them to help Ukraine, and it works. It really works. Like, in the beginning of the war, there were not as much support as we have now, and we started to speak to Congress people, and they immediately was signing petitions to Biden to provide military help to Ukraine, and humanitarian help and other. And it came to Lend-Lease law, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So yes, we do our job pretty good. We educate them, we give them our stories from the ground. We connect people from the middle of the war, from Kiev, from Bucha, from Mariupol, from Kherson, and we are sharing our stories. As I mentioned, our team, Delfast team, uh, we work in Kiev, and we have team members in Kharkiv, in Kherson, and they just shared their stories. They just showed how they work, how, how their lives are like now. Like,
Sure.
one lady marketing manager, her name is Daria. She lives in Kharkiv,
Oh,
and
wow.
yes, and she was with in Zoom meeting with senator, and there was a window covered by a black curtain behind her,
Okay.
and someone asked, what does it mean, why there is a black curtain? She said, this is because if I'll show my lights in window, so I will spot myself, so I could become a target for Russian missiles.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this is so crazy. Like, it's happening right now. Another man in Kiev, he's a very popular blogger, Anton Ptushkin. He showed videos from Bucha, from Irpin, from Kiev to senators, to Congress people, and that was really powerful. So we provided them just straight information, clear and honest information, so they can make their wise decisions after that. And as we can see, it works.
No, that's amazing. And like obviously nobody's really safe over there. So how are they like how are they handling that? Because that's gotta be like awful. Just like I don't know how like I don't even know what words to say. Like we all know how bad.
Yes, it is bad. 1 week ago, I had a speech in Dallas, Texas, at Earth X conference, and
Okay.
I showed pictures of destroyed infrastructure in Ukraine. And yes, when people saw these pictures, they were like, "Wow!" They couldn't even imagine it. Like, Ukraine, uh, Russian army, Putin has destroyed close to 90% of oil infrastructure, like
Wow.
all oil depots, oil refineries, and even one oil refinery, mm, if it is bombed, so there will be a fire and air pollution and land pollution. It is a disaster.
Right.
But if they attack hundreds of oil depots, it's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
It's a yes. Putin was attacking nuclear plants. That was like crazy. He invaded to Chernobyl first, and then he bombed Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, which is the largest European nuclear plant. Like
Just
it's six
it's just
times larger
wild,
than
right? Wow.
Chernobyl.
Wow.
It is, yes, indeed. It's hard to imagine. It's hard to understand. It's hard to believe that it happening right now in 2022 in the center of Europe.
Well, and that you these people are still working too, right? Is just
Yes,
yeah, wow, wild,
yes, we stand. We
yeah,
stand.
100%,
And even workers of such nuclear plants are on duty. They have to run this
right,
power plant, otherwise it will be stopped and catastrophe could happen, or at least power supply will be stopped. But and there are millions of people who receive this electricity. So this is happening everywhere. Our team is working. During the first week of war, we were shocked. Of course,
right,
we were trying to make sure that all the people are safe now, relatively safe.
yeah, relatively,
We
yeah,
yes, we did our best, and but now we continue our work, well, almost normal. And this war didn't affect us as business because um, our production wasn't affected. We have our production in China now, and we want to move it to the US. By the way, this
right,
is another big deal for us, and we are raising capital for this, like to move our company production facilities to America. We have uh, we have solved our logistics issues, as I mentioned. Uh, so as a business, we are doing pretty good. We are growing up 3x. Like first
oh,
quarter this year, we made sales revenues 3 times better than first quarter last year.
wow, amazing, man. That's really
Yes,
great.
thanks.
That's
Yes,
amazing considering all the stuff that you guys are dealing with as a team and a company,
right,
and yeah, that's
right,
amazing. So
right, right.
if people want to kind of help out or buy a bike or invest, again, maybe what URL can they get more information at as we close out the show?
Oh, yes, sure. Today we produce our bikes in China, but this is our decision and intention to move production to America. Again, to be closer to our clients, to faster react, to faster provide new models to the market, and to create a global company.
Right.
This is our goal. Yes, to become e-bike company number one in the world. So last year we raised $3.4 million at crowdfunding in Ukraine. People
Wow.
believed in us, and now we are raising $20 million to establish the assembly plant, to expand our presence on the market, and to scale.
Sure.
Just we have great product. We have really great team, and we have our uniqueness. So the next step is just to scale, to grow up, and for that purpose, we are raising 20 million. So if I know that you have a lot of audience among venture investors, private equity investors, so please join our venture round.
Very cool. And they can go to delfastbikes.com, DELFASTBIKES.com. Well,
Yes.
well, Daniel, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on the show, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you very much for having me here. It was great pleasure to talk to you. I hope your listeners enjoyed our conversation.
No, I thought it was great, man. All right, we'll talk soon. Okay, bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Please visit our website at buildingthefutureshow.com to join the free community, sign up for our newsletter, or to sponsor the show. The music is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com and keep building the future.